Hello and welcome to the very first episode of the Third Opinion Podcast and Radio Show!
Hey! Yay! Greetings, salutations, hello.
And welcome to a new program on Public Radio WCPI 91.3 FM.
Voice of the Highland Rim.
Voice of the Highland Rim. We should probably introduce who we are also.
My name is Ethan Duncan. I'm a former employee here. I've taken some time to volunteer to do this. I'm also a long-time hanger-outer around the station, usually around lunchtime, having a delicious sandwich or so.
And I'm Elisha Hunt. I'm a radio personality and board operator here at WCPI, and I have been for 2 years now. I think November 25th is my first day.
Look at you creeping up there all employed and stuff.
Look at me, having a job.
What a little boy.
What a little boy, having a job. Being employed full-time.
Making money.
Making money.
Cashing checks.
Cashing checks. So you might have gathered this from the introduction song, the Tijuana Taxi. This isn't going to be really a serious show as much as it is me and Ethan just talking about stuff that happened in the past week.
Just sharing articles, things that caught our attention, past our mind, flew past our eyeballs.
Yeah.
All that good stuff, just interesting stuff, News type stuff.
Entertainment, technology,
movies,
video games.
Video games. We're gonna cover a little bit of all that today, actually.
Yeah. Hopefully in the future episodes also.
Yeah.
It really does depend on what all happened in the past week. If Trump did something, we're going to talk about it, and that's the way. People don't talk about Donald Trump enough, in my opinion. And that's our politics for the week. Thank you for listening.
It's a very unused topic. Very unused.
You don't really hear about it that much.
Never.
So what's the
first topic? First topic here is introducing the show's name.
Mm-hmm. The Third Opinion Podcast.
The Third Opinion Podcast radio show. Hearing first, streaming live on recording.
Mm-hmm.
Right here.
Also, this is probably going to go on YouTube and maybe SoundCloud and Spotify eventually. I'll see what we have to do for that.
I'll have to work out some kinks there, but
yeah.
But for the first actual real topic, I saw this while I was perusing the internet.
Mm-hmm.
Netflix, something I'm sure you may or may not be familiar with. I don't really know how familiar you are with the streaming type stuff.
I've heard of Netflix.
Have you?
Big fan of Netflix.
Okay, good. It's good stuff, right? Has excellent quality of content on there. Recently they've started doing, I guess in the past couple of years, they've started, making their own content.
Mm-hmm.
They've had really big hits like House of Cards. They've had
Marco Polo.
Just kind of a continuous Game of Thrones. Unfortunately, got canceled. Didn't do so well. That was one of the ones that kind of lost them a bit of money.
Yeah.
The Crown recently has done really well. Been nominated for several.
Yeah.
Academy Awards and different things of that.
They have two handfuls of good shows, of great programming that are like television level shows. Yeah. But
you're all wondering, what am I bringing up the Netflix for? We know what it's about. We know what they do. They used to send us DVDs.
Yeah.
Through the snail mail. Now they send it straight to our TV. It's much faster, more efficient. Everybody likes it better.
More convenient.
Good time, right?
Mm-hmm.
Well, recent year, in the past year, they partnered with Disney. They have a lot of Disney content up there. They've been getting new movies on there, like Moana, right around release time or even a little bit before, maybe. They've had Moana. They've had Finding Dory.
Yeah.
They've had Zootopia, just to name a few. I think those have been the biggest ones.
Like animated Disney movies and stuff like that. Yeah.
Which are what they're known for.
Yeah.
But recently, Netflix and Disney is thinking about pulling their content from Netflix, actually, which is kind of interesting to me because you have this really prolific kind of partnership there.
Yeah.
In which Netflix is benefiting, but also Disney is too. Because they're getting that extra exposure. Through other people that they may not have cable. So they may not see the Disney Channel. A lot of people don't.
Yeah.
Use cable or anything anymore like that. It's all streaming. It's all streaming. Which, as we are people of the digital age, all about the convenience, stuff like that. So Disney is thinking about actually making their own streaming service.
Which is crazy.
It is kind of crazy.
Because there's like 3 or 4 big streaming services now that a majority of people know what they are. Like Amazon does streaming, and you get that all free if you are subscribed to Amazon Prime.
Right.
Big fan of Amazon Prime. There's Hulu. There's HBO Go.
Right, which is actually, you can get through Hulu now.
Yeah, which is also crazy.
It's neat. Like, I mean, it's a separate subscription, but like,
yeah.
That's kind of another example you see there, the partnership. So it's not something that's particularly uncommon, because you have to get these licensings and, all the shows on there, and it stings because you have to wait forever for the next season. I'm still waiting on Supernatural,
stuff like that.
Yeah, but here nor there. So one of the more interesting things to me about this is, you would think, well, oh boy, Disney's making their own thing. It's going to be great. They're just going to start pulling everything out of the vault.
Yeah, they're going to have everything on there.
Just unlocking it. Just pulling out Mulan and pulling out Sleeping Beauty. They're going to wake her up. They're going to wake up Sleeping Beauty. They're going to be like, get up here. Get on the streaming. You're going to do a TV show or something.
Yeah,
but because they have all this backlog. I had it's like 60, 70 year plus of backlog of Mickey Mouse cartoons.
Thousands of hours.
Yeah,
more than I think any one person could ever watch.
Right, and probably more than a lot of people are actually aware of.
Yeah. You'd be surprised how much Disney has under their entertainment media belt.
The proverbial belt. So, the real question here is, how successful is this going to be?
Yeah, because if you had told someone, let's see, it's 2017. If you told someone 5 years ago, 2011, 2012, there's going to be a streaming service on the internet that rivals and beats in many categories mainstream television, nobody would believe you.
No, they told you were crazy. They're like, I'm just going to go home and watch my VHS tapes of Disney.
Yeah, exactly.
Or like, let me use this VCR. What's this DVD player? Divida.
Yeah. So 2011, 2012, no one thought that Netflix was going to do any good.
No. And
they got laughed out of every single office saying, no thanks, kid. You're not going to do any good in this neighborhood.
Kick rocks.
Kick rocks, kid. Get out of here. Go play in the street.
Go to your room, son.
But here they are being the titan of media for the most part.
Right.
And people are begging Netflix to get their shows on Netflix. Or begging Netflix to make a show with them. To make a Netflix-only show.
And
5-6 years' time.
And Amazon even now. You have
Amazon now.
You have their new... their CEO he's now the richest man in the world.
Yeah, he beat Bill Gates.
Yes,
that's crazy.
That's crazy. I read that article a couple weeks ago. I was like,
yeah.
I had to double check. I was like,
yeah.
I was like, what?
I saw it.
He's been.
I was like, wait, hold on.
Yeah, Bill Gates.
Bill Gates?
He's been the top. He's been the top banana.
For as long as I've been alive.
Long time. I think it's been like almost a decade or more.
Probably more.
I'm fairly certain. I can't recall the exact number.
You probably should look this up.
That's it's fine.
Yeah, but yeah, a guy that owns one of the largest shopping things. It's not on the Walmart level yet. I think it's like a step or two below Walmart for being the biggest shopping. But there's no physical Amazon stores yet.
And I think
they're opening up an Amazon store in Seattle for beta testing.
I was going to say that's probably something that's soon to follow, I would imagine.
I think in Q3 of 2017, which we're close to getting through third quarter of 2017.
We're really quickly approaching that.
But yeah, no, I'm curious to see how Disney's going to go, because I know a few people in real life and on the internet who would absolutely pay $10 a month for a Disney vault of content, because they have Disney, you get Disney XD. They get Marvel movies. They acquired Marvel 3 or 4 years ago. Got Star Wars now.
That's a huge. I know. You and I both are huge fans of that. I know.
Yeah, which I completely forgot. This includes the Clone Wars, and includes Disney Rebels.
Right.
And what other series they're going to make? I think they're going to make another series. Of I think in between Episode 6, Return of the Jedi, and The Force Awakens. Because there's like a 20-year gap in between that one and that one.
So, there's all this potential for them to do Netflix type stuff with their own shows.
And of course, people would buy it, too.
They had their channels, but it makes you kind of wonder, like, well, what are they going to do with
What are they going to do
with the TV channels? Because, that's been, me growing up, and I'm sure during your childhood, too, because there's not a huge age difference. And, I'm 26, you're 19 now.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sure you were the Disney Channel movies and
Wendy Wu, Homecoming Warrior is my favorite Disney Channel exclusive movie.
One of my favorite was Break.
Break's really
which
good.
Was great. Skating movie. And Xenon. There was so many good ones.
Xenon, Princess Warrior.
So many good. No, not that's Xena.
Xena Princess Warrior?
Xenon was the one with the girl in space. You know, with like the Rock, the pop star guy, and you know.
I don't remember that one.
There was
a lot.
There was a self-driving car.
What?
Yeah, I was like, it looked like a Volkswagen Beetle. I was like, what is this thing? You know. But anyway, you know.
I remember that one.
So
quick tangent. Do you remember Phil of the Future?
yes.
See, I haven't seen Phil of the Future in 6-7 years probably.
So you have like all stuff like that could drag out, you know. I mean, and this could open up potential for other. I mean, imagine if like Nickelodeon did something like this.
Ugh.
I would be all on board for that.
A Nickelodeon one I would probably subscribe to.
Absolutely, I would
hesitation.
Hands down. But the interesting thing with this, you know, you would think that a lot of people would just instantly jump on the train with this, with Disney, you know. Disney being such a prolific thing, and especially owning all these huge properties now in Marvel and Star Wars, and you know,
quite lucrative properties.
Really, you know, they're literally, you know, just multi-billion-dollar company, you know. So the shocking thing is looking at what their stock was at when they, you know, kind of announced it on this week. On Wednesday, they actually closed down 4%,
which is not a very large margin,
but it's
noticeable.
That's a very noticeable dip for a company that big.
Yeah, and
you
usually
know,
whenever things like this happen,
that's several millions of dollars. You know,
it is, which is to them not that big of a deal,
but
it's
like,
noticeable.
That's kind of like, well, you know, they took a dive there. You know,
yeah.
So,
and what's crazy is like it's not like they're investing in some off the wall thing that you've never heard of.
No,
they're going to pull their content. It's not going to happen until 2019. I think they said the beginning of 2019.
Right. And I know we have Netflix, you know, just kind of not really scrounging because they have other things, but you know, this isn't the first loss, you know, quote unquote loss that Netflix has taken, you know.
Yeah. Exactly.
You know, recently they lost, you know, I think it was Doctor Who, and you know, a couple of old cartoons from, you know, like the X-Men cartoon, Batman cartoon, you know, a couple of things like that from my childhood, you know.
X-Men versus Wolverine. All
right,
that.
And they went to, you know, I think they went to Hulu.
I think they did go to Hulu.
And I know Doctor Who, I think, went to Amazon. If I remember correctly.
I think they went to Amazon, yeah.
So
Amazon's doing a very good job of getting up a bunch of older BBC shows.
They really are. So
like, you know, the Top Gear. Whenever Top Gear got canceled,
yeah,
the British version
they bought
got
it.
canceled.
They bought it out.
They bought the Top Gear is still owned by the BBC, and I love that the English Top Gear now because it has Chris Harris and I haven't seen much about it either.
They hired the guys from the original one, correct?
Well, BBC Top Gear hired 2 new guys that used to do car stuff.
Well, I'm talking about Amazon. They picked up the new guys and sort of rebranded.
Yeah. They made
Top Gear.
They got the 3 guys. Can't think of their names right now. Love them though.
Right, they're wonderful.
But they made a new series called The Grand Tour.
Right.
Which is hilarious because Top Gear is TG and Grand Tour is GT. Poking fun. Yeah, poke fun at the BBC. And it's, you know, their biggest show. I think they reported it as being their biggest show.
I would imagine so. I remember hearing some numbers originally, like when it premiered, and it was pretty prolific for, you know, a streaming service, especially like the first day of just like the numbers, like of people watching this were pretty staggering. Yeah, and I watched the first 3 or 4 episodes, and it's really funny and really good. But I don't have time to watch, you know, TV, and if I do, I'm probably going to watch YouTube, or if I'm going to do anything, I'm probably going to play video games with my friends. But besides that, like, that's pretty big. For these 3 English guys, 3 English blokes to go from the BBC to an American streaming service and do just as well, if not
maybe as well, if not better. Yeah,
you know, because they have a far. I mean, the BBC is one of the world's largest broadcasting networks. But honestly, I mean, Netflix, you know, or Amazon, you know, streaming service like that may arguably have a larger reach. Probably more so now. They're definitely more accessible.
Well, you have things like firewalls and regional restrictions that are stopping people. Like, you can't watch stuff like that in China,
right?
Only because of the Great Firewall, which is a hilarious name.
Literally the Great Wall, the digital Great Wall,
the digital Great Wall. And then in Japan, you can't watch certain American stuff either.
Right.
But yeah, I'm curious to see where this is going to head for Disney and for Netflix. Hopefully, it's not going to be too horrible. Hopefully, if the streaming service is good, and hopefully it's called the Disney Vault, maybe we'll subscribe to it whenever it comes out. I don't know. I'd have to see what all it's going to have on it.
That's kind of the big one for me. Because for me, I like the convenience of having everything in one place, you know, with Netflix.
Yeah, I do too.
I'm a creature of ease. You know,
yeah.
I like things to be easily accessed, and I think a lot of people do, like
especially these days too.
Very much the side that we live in, we're about we want it now, we want it fast, and we don't want to have, like we don't have to download, like 6 different things just to watch one movie,
And it's funny to say that because you go on your phone, you're like, it's in another application, but you're still holding it in your hand with one hand. Where I still remember the days where you had to go to Hastings or Blockbuster to go get a movie or something. If you want to watch A Bug's Life, you're like, I got to go to Blockbuster and see if they even have it.
Dig through the
dollar
rentals.
Yeah, and then you had to take it back.
Yeah,
which is originally what Netflix did. Netflix made that a lot easier by, we'll mail it to you. You can mail it back in.
Keep it however you want.
Keep it however long you want, which is a great idea.
Right.
But people aren't even using discs that much anymore either. And with broadband, well,
quote unquote
broadband. I think the FCC said broadband is 25 megabytes per second. Mm-hmm. And you'd be hard pressed to find that in rural places.
Oh yeah.
We fortunately live in good suburbs and neighborhoods and all that. I live by myself, and Ethan lives with people.
With the peoples.
And we have pretty decent internet.
Yeah, especially around here. And the good thing about actually Tennessee is there's a lot of grants. Mm-hmm. Like I don't know exactly where they come through, but like I'm sure I'm on a federal level, I would imagine.
Yeah. But
there's grants like that actually help, bring in fiber wire and faster internets and stuff to more rural areas. Mm-hmm. That are given out, every so often, and I think that's one thing that's really helped, in this area. We have, local communication places and other communication places coming in, and they're bringing in this, faster internet, and they're, bringing with it this technology, and even in Nashville, they're getting Google Fiber, I believe it is now.
Google Fiber, yeah.
And they're, that's even going to open up another level entirely for Nashville.
Yeah, exactly.
Which is wild because you think of Nashville, you think of it being fairly progressive,
Yeah.
Despite it being an older city.
Yeah, exactly.
But it'll just be really interesting to see kind of where that technology and where the streaming stuff kind of all comes in together,
Because no one knows what even now, especially we don't live in that big of a city, but we live in a town, essentially.
Right. And the county itself is rather large, but the rural to urban area is the city part is much smaller than the county. I think the county is like 40,000 and the city's roughly 12 or so, if I remember right.
Yeah. So we need to go to the Wikipedia page. We need to get official numbers and go to the Wikipedia page and update it. Because I think it hasn't been updated since like 2015.
It's been a while, but I mean, that's not since the last census, so it's,
so
it's only done like every 10 years or so.
I think so.
So
probably.
But
with broadband becoming more and more popular, 25 megabytes per second, I got Spectrum Charter Internet, and I think you pay $30 a month for 60 megabytes download,
right,
and 10 megabyte upload.
That sounds pretty comparable.
Which sounds pretty comparable. I'm not sure what everybody else uses or how any of that works, but gigabit fiber is 1,000 gigabytes per second download.
It's 100 upload, I believe, isn't it?
And then like 100 upload, yeah.
Yeah. It's usually like a tenth or something like that.
Yeah. Or I think it's depending on who you get it from. Gigabit internet is 1,000 megabytes, and then 1 gigabyte is 1 gigabyte. And I think some people do 100 gigabytes. I think some people do 1 gigabyte. I'm pretty sure fiber is 1 gigabyte or 1,000 gigabyte, depending on where you get it from.
I think it's up to 1,000.
I think it's up to 1,000. Yeah. You might be right. Yeah.
So I know the common, like in our area, we have fiber, and we can get, I think 50 is the base, and then it goes up to like 100, which or a gig, whatever.
Which is still really fast.
Which is more business.
Yeah. But my friend Andrew, his dad owns a nursery, and his office, which is out in the middle of nowhere,
right.
It's out all the way past Myers Cove, and he has, his office has Ben Lomond fiber, and which it's a business. Like it's nursery, but
right.
It's always good to have, crazy fast internet.
It really is.
But Andrew's house, still has 15 megabyte download and 5 megabyte upload. So that disconnect between business needing it and people needing it is
right. And
hopefully that gap lessens.
And that's kind of what I hope as well. Especially as those hopefully those grants come more plentiful and stuff like that. I think that'll really do with kind of bringing that in, especially to more rural counties and more rural areas than ours even.
Yeah. And then you have the big corporations and stuff selling all these old folk internet that they don't even use.
Yeah.
Sometimes.
The big babies.
The big babies.
Big baby corporations.
So yeah, that's our take on that, really.
But it'll be a really interesting transition to see how that works out. So, what did you have to share with us? What did you bring to the table here,
Ethan? Won't lie to you, not much.
Mr. Elisha.
I don't prepare for stuff very well.
Elisha.
If you know me in real life, usually I'm about 10 minutes late to the radio station.
Good. Fly by the seat of your pants.
I fly by the seat of my pants every day of my life.
Propellers attached. Wings on the sides. We don't need cars here.
We don't need cars here.
We fly by pants.
One thing I did think was interesting, though, before we started recording the podcast for this week, Tesla's CEO. I'm actually a big fan of Elon Musk.
Yeah.
He's from South Africa, but he's an all-American patriot, businessman, entrepreneur.
And I love how they opened up their copyrights last year, I believe it was, or their trademarks.
I think it was their trademarks.
Something to do with their product though, but I know they've like outsourced it basically. Like anyone can, like gain access to it basically.
Yeah, I think so.
A really interesting move on his behalf, I think, or on that company's behalf.
Yeah, definitely. Which is probably might not even be right at all. But Elon Musk is the CEO of Tesla.
Mm-hmm.
I think he's the founder of SpaceX, which I'm a huge proponent and fan of, and Solar City. I think his cousin owns Solar City or is a CEO of Solar City. But Elon Musk has to do with all three of those. Tesla, which is the cars, Solar City, which is the energy acquirement, solar power energy and all that. And then SpaceX, which is the rocket boosters and all that. Elon Musk and SpaceX made the very first rocket booster, the rocket that can launch, go into space, and land.
Oh, wow, I didn't know that.
Which is incredible because, you spend all these billions and billions of dollars on a rocket that is a one-time use. Whereas they put millions and millions of dollars into a rocket that can be used more than once.
Yeah, it looks like, I actually just looked at it. Looks like Solar City is actually now
so now it's in all three.
It's actually part of Tesla now.
Oh, boy.
Which is pretty wild to think about.
Because if you're Teslas are all electric cars, if you guys didn't know that. All electric. The new Tesla Model 3, love it to death. It's 4-seater sedan, essentially.
Sounds right.
Sports sedan.
Insanely fast with that. With the electric motor. Like it's
with electric motors, there's no
delay.
There's no delay, and it's no torque or all the torque.
Mm-hmm.
With the gas pedal, the throttle pedal,
it's immediate response.
Like it's crazy. I think the 0 to 60 time is 3 seconds, 3.1 seconds.
It's just insanely fast.
It's
like
speed.
Ferrari level almost, which is
crazy.
And in a mom sedan essentially. Which is
in a 4-seater sedan,
kind of insane.
That can hold luggage and kids.
Of course, it's
Ferraris were 2-seaters.
Can't hold kids.
Can't hold the kids when you're going that fast. They fly out the back.
Not a good idea.
But we got off on a tangent, didn't we? Anyway, you'll see that we do that a whole bunch.
We'll steer it back here.
We'll steer it back here. So Tesla CEO Elon Musk fired off a new and ominous warning on Friday about artificial intelligence. This is from CNBC. He suggested that the emerging technology of artificial intelligence is going to be a greater risk than nuclear conflagration with North Korea. He's saying that artificial intelligence and where that's going to go is more dangerous than North Korea with nukes.
So he's basically saying that Skynet is more of a threat than nuclear war with Korea.
Yes.
North Korea specifically.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
And I agree wholeheartedly.
That's crazy.
Because if you make something that can just essentially learn itself,
right,
an all-knowing, all-powerful thing that can learn from itself, if it's smart enough to do all that, what's going to stop it from becoming the new
North Korea?
Or the new, intergalactic power or whatever. Who needs people if it can do it all itself? But not talking about doomsday just yet.
Right.
From CNBC, Musk, a fierce and longtime critic of AI who once likened it to summoning the demon in a horror movie. Bit of a big statement. He said in a Twitter post that people should be concerned about the rise of machines. And it's more of a risk than North Korea is. which is a big thing.
That is, and that's a pretty big statement that he has there too.
It's a very big statement because we've been, technically we are at war with North Korea,
right?
Because
literally right on the cusp,
Yeah, because the Korean War was 3 years, 2 or 3 years, and then South Korea and North Korea like, all right, well we're done for now, I guess. But North Korea, in their mind, the war has not ended.
No, I mean they're
70 years later.
The animosity is still very much there.
Yeah, they still hate the United States.
While you have South Korea just prospering and it's very for an Asian, it's very westernized.
It is
for
very
Asian
much
country.
so, absolutely very much so. What you guys should do sometime is look up a K-pop video. You don't have to watch the entire thing, but watch a K-pop video, Korean pop, and then watch an American pop video.
Good time.
Good time. The only difference really is the language and the colors. Like, it's more colorful and everything's a lot happier in South Korea for the videos, but they sound and look just almost the exact same. Like, it's ridiculous.
Especially some of even like the rap. I wish I could remember her name right now. There's a Korean female rapper that I had found, and I watched it, and she recently released a song, in English, and it did fairly decent from what I remember, and several, over 1 million views on YouTube, which is, not a whole lot these days, but still, it's still
formidable,
pretty impressive, for someone branching over like that.
Yeah.
And it was her English release and her, Korean song, very, very much mirrored.
Mm-hmm.
Very much mirrored. But Mr. Musk,
Dad, Elon.
Mr. Musk, Mr. Old Man,
Mr. Tesla,
Mr. Perfume here,
Yeah, I don't think he's that old actually.
Probably not. I think he's in his maybe 50s, 40s.
No, he's not that old. Hold on a second.
Somewhere around there.
Okay, Google. How old is Elon Musk? I have a Google Home Assistant.
Elon Musk is 46 years old.
He's a lot older than I thought he was.
See, I figured he was around there. He kind of he's kind of that businessman age,
Yeah, no, you're right. He doesn't look that old at all.
No, not at all.
It must be the genes. It must be living in South Africa,
Probably
Canada
so.
for a little bit.
That good air.
But everyone thinks that he's overreacting, and Mark Zuckerberg, CEO and founder of Facebook, one of the largest things in the world. Mark Zuckerberg isn't buying it, and Elon Musk said he should be buying it, but he's not because he owns Facebook. Essentially, is what he's saying.
So he's not buying what he's selling.
He's not buying what he's selling solely because he owns Facebook. And he said, well, there's a reason why he wouldn't be on board with AI being one of the greatest threats to humanity.
That would be very harmful to his business.
Yeah, exactly. But it's not like if Mark Zuckerberg and Elon Musk both said AI is going to kill everybody, which, possible. It's not like I'm going to stop using Facebook.
Honestly, I don't think anybody would.
I don't think anybody would stop using Facebook. Big investors maybe, but
social media are so integrated in life at this point. It'll be very hard to differentiate and separate the two.
Yeah.
This
also happened. We're recording this Sunday, August
13th.
13th. Yeah, 13th. And recently, have you heard of OpenAI?
I have not.
Okay, so Elon Musk, who is spearheading commercial space travel with his venture SpaceX, Solar City, Tesla, he also is the founder of OpenAI, a nonprofit that promotes the safe development of artificial intelligence.
So it's sort of like an open...
So he knows what he's talking about.
An open source version of IBM's AI, essentially.
Yeah. Essentially. Yeah. So it's not like he's just making all this up and then just, being a guy that's just talking nonsense and trying to scare everybody. He has an idea of what he's talking about.
Right.
And which is hilarious because the OpenAI managed to beat 2 professional esports players. Just a couple days ago.
Really?
Yeah. A major tournament. After only 2 weeks of practice, the OpenAI beat Dota 2 professionals.
Right, which is a big game.
Yeah, big game. It beat the best in the world. So now the best Dota 2 player is
an AI.
Is not even a person.
That's a little insane.
Which is a little insane, yeah. Which is crazy because not only do we have esport, which didn't exist a couple years ago,
right,
or wasn't big 2 or 3 years ago, but you have artificial intelligence, which is now better at Dota 2.
No, taking the top slot.
I
still feel like he's crying wolf just a little bit here. I don't know.
Maybe not so much crying wolf as much as he is covering not so much his tracks, but saying like, "Hey, this could be an issue. If we're not careful, this could be an issue." And I agree wholeheartedly. AI is a lot smarter than people give it credit for, especially these days. Because Google's also making a thing. I didn't even get the article for this one ready. Google's making an AI that is learning how to be a human, essentially from birth to death, which is crazy. But it started out as like just it didn't start out being birthed or anything, which you guys know how that works. But essentially, it started out as like a 2 or 3 year old, and learn how to walk and encounter obstacles and go over obstacles. There's a video on YouTube, and I've already forgotten what it's called. But it's such a funny video to watch it because you're like, oh, it's funny, it's stumbling around. But
So it's like in an actual robotic body.
But inside of a program.
Wow.
Inside of a computer program. I think it's the DeepMind AI.
That sounds right.
I don't know what it's called. But essentially, it's learning how to be a human with motor functions, which is crazy. And then you have Boston Dynamics doing all the physical robotic stuff. And those are incredible videos to watch.
They are. They're really impressive.
Because you see these big Jaguar-style machines.
And they're like leaping, like...
They're leaping like...
7 feet in the air or something.
It's crazy. And they're going 20, 30 miles
an
hour sometimes.
Like, I mean, you're going to get ran
they're
over
going
by...
as fast as real Jaguars, which is crazy. For a machine.
It is. It really is. Especially, I mean, seeing sort of the fluidity that it moves at is pretty impressive.
Which, it's not moving by itself. None of them are autonomous yet. They said that they're making them to be autonomous eventually. But they're making the robotics to where they can work better. Because you can't just go ahead and make it a fully functioning AI and then put it inside of a machine body.
Running and jumping all over people.
Yeah.
You know.
So it's controlled by people for now.
Which is probably a good idea.
It's probably a very good
Especially if, Mr. Musk, is anyone to be believed.
I think, let me open that article up again. I think Stephen Hawking also said that if aliens aren't going to get us, then AI is. Which, Stephen Hawking. He's one of the smartest people.
He's definitely an intelligent guy.
But, so there's that. There's that to think about.
Kind of chew on that fat for a little bit, if you will.
Bit honest. Do you have a happier story, please?
Switching topics.
Is that a transition that you just?
It's a little bit of a pun there.
I think we're gonna have to stop the podcast, Ethan. I don't like this transition business.
We're not pun yet. All right, we're moving on. Anyway, switching topics, as I said, Nintendo, who I'm sure most people are familiar with, big entertainment company. Been around since 1800s, I believe. Been around for almost 100 years, if not 100 years.
I think so.
Been a long time. Let's look that up real quick.
Let's see.
But
Nintendo.
they're in the news again, as they have been quite a bit this year. They've released their newest game system, the Nintendo Switch. That's why we're switching topics here. You see, but they're being sued by a company that made what's called the WikiPad, or the WikiPad. And they're saying that their design was taken by Nintendo.
For the Switch.
For the Switch. And essentially, for those of you that aren't familiar with the Switch, what it is, it's essentially a tablet that has these two controllers that slide on the left and the right side that, each have a thumbstick. And
yeah, they're called Joy-Cons.
Joy-Cons.
Yeah.
That's what they're called. They have the buttons, kind of interface with it, arrows on one, and then A, B, Y, and X for the inputs, for jumping and all the actions on the other one. And what you can do, you can either play it as a tablet on the go, or you can, plug it into a base and play it on your TV and slide off the Joy-Cons and put them in a controller-like setup and actually play it on your TV, which is pretty revolutionary when you think about it.
Yeah, if you get onto it, no one has really done anything like that
No,
yet.
I mean, we've had handhelds, but...
Yeah, we have iPhones and iPads and all that. But for this to be a home game console, that can also be a portable game console, is crazy because it can do both. And I've played it as a portable. I've played Legend of Zelda.
It runs very smooth, and it looks great for a portable. It's like I think it's roughly an 8-inch screen.
Yeah, I think 7.
8-inch by 6 or something like that.
Yeah.
It's a really good sized screen. It feels comfortable.
It's a very convenient sized screen.
The quality's great. It's a nice product. I own one myself. I happened to find one just randomly at Walmart
because they made them specifically to where if someone wanted to buy one, they had to go find one to buy.
Yeah, they're very scarce right now. That's telling you how well they're doing with this product. It's a very hot product right now, especially this year. And I imagine it'll be that way going on into Christmas, into Q4 of this year.
Yeah.
I very much imagine that's going to continue on into next year. But, they're saying that they stole this design. So it kind of brings to questioning it. Well, did they? Didn't they?
Yeah.
When you look at the pictures of this tablet that they are kind of alleging that they, took the design for, it's, there's definite similarities. But I just don't know if I'm sold on it yet. You have you've had several companies in the past, say, well, hey, Nintendo stole this from me, or hey, Nintendo didn't steal this from me.
Which is easy to say, oh, Nintendo stole this from me.
Right.
And then open a lawsuit. But I'm not sure if they did, really.
I don't know. It's kind of hard to...
It's definitely a hard one to pick a side on. Because you're like, oh, it's Nintendo. They would never do that. But why would someone just come out of the blue and say, hey, you stole this idea you stole this design from us?
Right. It's very much either a situation where this did happen, or that, it's just somebody trying to stir up some publicity for themselves. Well, hey, we have this very similar product as well. Buy our game, doodad.
Yeah, I'm looking at a picture of the WikiPad right now. I mean, I see what they're getting.
There's similarities, but it's not.
What they're getting at. It's not like Nintendo stole the Joy-Con from these guys and then, because it's an actual, for the audio listeners, we don't have any video yet. We'll probably do that later. But it's essentially you slide a tablet into this almost U-shaped device.
Basically.
That has a handle on one side and a handle on the other side. But it's all connected as one device. It's all connected and plugged in, and there's buttons and speakers and stuff on the actual device.
Right.
Whereas the Joy-Cons are just two separate controllers that you just slide on to the top of the actual tablet.
Independently.
Yeah. And you can have them both off and you can still play games. Whereas if you have this thing off, you just have a screen or a tablet.
Yeah.
So I see what they're getting at. I certainly do see what they're getting at, but I'm just not sure if I'm understanding where they're coming from here.
Right, especially when, it's like I said, it's happened time and time again where people have brought up, well, hey, they stole this from me, or they didn't steal this
motion
from
controlling from a company.
Right,
they stole the idea of a separate tablet for the Wii U.
What's next? They stole the idea for Mario? Come on, that's like saying, well, Disney stole Mickey Mouse from, Nickelodeon, which didn't even exist around that time. It's kind of preposterous to a degree.
How long? Quick question. I don't even know if you know the answer to this one. How long have they been working on the Switch anyway? They've been working on the Switch since the Wii U came out, didn't they?
I think so. I know it was under the title. It was like Project NX or something for a long time. So, it's been developed, and I remember when there was a couple of leaks when they trademarked it initially.
Yeah, I remember those.
They were like, well, you saw the tablet and you're like, what
in the world is supposed to be?
What is this thing?
Is Nintendo making a touchscreen tablet now?
And then they have the games, which are like, they look like Nintendo DS games, which for those of you who don't know, it's like a little, basically it looks like a little microchip of a thing. About maybe an inch to a centimeter. It's like the size of an SD card. That's perfect.
Yeah,
perfect.
It's
example.
like about the size of a dime.
Yeah,
it's ridiculous, and that's the whole game too.
Yeah, and now you have these dime size, quarter size things that are producing, graphics that are, on par with what we've been seeing for 10, the past years. 2 or 3 years on, not quite PS4 or Xbox One level, but or
even PC
or
level.
PC, of course not. Those are always constantly changing, but very comparable to several of those.
You're not going to notice them being bad.
No, it's a gorgeous game.
Yeah, The Legend of Zelda is one of my favorite, and I've only played Breath of the Wild, Legend of Zelda: Breath of the Wild.
Right.
Like I've only played like an hour at Andrew's house, and I've watched you play it. I love it. It's probably my favorite Zelda game.
Yeah, I've beat it myself. I put pretty close to 100 hours into it, and there's still
so
just
much
tons to do. Like the world it's a very living, breathing world.
It's ridiculous. they
impressive that they squished that into this little cartridge that I can take and use while I'm on the go or wherever.
Yeah, you're on an airplane heading somewhere. Play that. You're on a road trip to Nashville.
Hiding in somebody's closet. Who knows? You can literally be anywhere with this.
You can play a full console game on a handheld, which is ridiculous.
It's wild.
And it looks good on TV too. You plug the docking port, or you plug the dock into the television. You pop the Joy-Cons off the side. You put the tablet into the dock, and then you're playing it on a TV.
And I don't know if you've seen it with Andrew, like how the transition is, but you literally plug it in, and within like a second, it's on the TV.
Yeah, no, I've seen him do it.
Pretty seamless.
I specifically asked him, "Can you show me how seamless the transition is?" And he said, Sure thing, son.
It's like
It's
it's techno
crazy.
wizardry.
It's crazy.
It's like magic.
Because if you had told somebody 5 years ago that you could do that, they wouldn't have believed you.
No, they thought you were crazy and probably would have thrown you in a padded room. You're like, what? Stop!
Yeah.
You're nuts.
When did the Wii U come out? Hold on a second. Wii U.
I think it was like 2012, maybe 2011.
I think so. And I wish the Wii U. I wish November 18th, 2012. So it has effectively been about 5 years.
Yeah.
Probably give or take a little.
And the good thing is, that the Switch has done is it's actually taken a lot of those games that didn't get a lot of exposure due to the Wii U not doing very well, and they're re-releasing sequels and remakes of them on the Switch, and they're doing really well. Specifically, they've released a game called Splatoon 2.
Love Splatoon. So much fun.
The first sequel, I think it moved roughly. Don't quote me on this, but I think it's from what I remember. I remember listening to a video specifically this week about it that a guy stated. I think within the first week, like the first one moved like maybe 150,000 units, which is
A lot.
a lot. That's just in Japan.
Yeah.
But the second one moved over 600,000 units just in Japan,
Which is a lot of units.
that's incredible, especially in one country. That's not
exactly.
accounting for the rest of the world. So we may be looking at 800, close to maybe 1 million units. I mean, who knows?
I know for a fact Andrew was like, he was there for the midnight, or the digital midnight release of Splatoon 2, and he was so upset because the Nintendo servers weren't working, because they didn't think that many people were going to buy it.
No, and they were overwhelmed by it, which is kind of seems to be the constant consensus with this thing.
Yeah,
they
more
have
people want it.
They have lines in Japan. I think we've talked about this before, but off the show, obviously it's the first one, but they have lines in Japan where there was a line, I think it was in Shibuya or Osaka.
One of those, I think it was Osaka.
Where you got a ticket
Yeah.
for a raffle
Yeah.
just to buy a Switch. Like, not win one, just to buy one. Just a chance to buy one.
Yeah.
And there was a line of over 3,000 people in the streets.
That's how scarce a game console is. Which is ridiculous.
Right, it's a piece of hardware. And they say that they're ramping up, production, they're making more, but
which Nintendo's always done that.
They do.
They've always made the bare minimum to sell.
Right.
That way people want them more or whatever. I do remember my cousin / my mom's cousin. Whenever the Wii U, he's a big game entertainment nerd guy or whatever. Whenever the Wii U was going to come out, he went to Walmart like late at night, and he was standing in line to get the Wii U like on release at Walmart.
Of course.
And he said,
as one often does,
as you do as a nerd. He said this older lady, probably early 60s, asked, "What is everyone standing in line here for?" And he said, "We're standing in line for a game console." And he said that she almost laughed him out of the Walmart.
Right, because
games are a thing for kids.
Right, they kind of view this as like, why would you do this?
Yeah, why would you subject yourself to standing in line to buy a thing?
This I can't think of the words for it, but like this just because she probably remembers when she 20, 30 years ago, when Nintendo was first coming out, she probably remember getting those for her grandchildren, or her children getting those for their children,
or like going to a place and seeing it like a 7-Eleven or whatever, like people playing arcade games, like kids are playing that.
And that's kind of where you see this transition now, because you have these people that grew up on these, and you have them still being involved in it. I mean, I've been playing games since I was a wee little lad of 10 and a little boy,
little boy, yeah.
Maybe 10 or 12,
yeah, and Robert too, I imagine.
Yeah, for sure,
Yeah, I mean, it's what you guys grew up with, and I grew up with the internet and playing Flash.
Right, same kind of thing.
Yeah.
So you have exposure in a different way, but it will be like the same thing as like waiting for a game on, to release on Steam or something.
Yeah. We're going. Actually, I haven't bought a physical game since 2011,
right.
And it was Modern Warfare 3.
And it's becoming less and less common nowadays.
It is becoming less and less common. You'll still wait for like midnight releases, but it's digital. Like you'll be inside your living room watching TV. And I have done this. I've been waiting for a game to come out. I'm just watching Netflix or YouTube, and then like I see it's 12:15. I'm like, oh cool, I can play the game now, because pre-downloading the thing now, where you can just download the game, but then release the content.
And a lot of things, it even releases an hour early.
Yeah,
which is really nice. I mean, that's a such a boon, such a benefit
Yeah.
of buying digitally now. Because, like I remember waiting specifically on a couple of games, I was super excited about, and I was like, well, I want to get a physical copy, because there's just something about, getting that in your hands,
Yeah, it feels like you own it, whereas it's not just there.
Right. It's a different sort of perspective on it,
Yeah.
It's a different kind of excitement,
Yeah.
You pop it in, you crack it open, all that kind of good stuff. It just feels the crinkle of the plastic,
Yeah.
Ooh,
The clicking of the case.
Yes, it feels good.
Yeah.
It's just kind of a feeling of excitement.
Yeah.
But versus now, like there was one game I was going to do that with, and I was like, well, I don't want to leave my house at 11 o'clock at night. When I got to work the next day. Like I'm going to be up at 7 in the morning, drive an hour, and
Yeah.
I'm an adult. I have things to do. I can't stay up till 2 and go get this thing
And play games more. So that's where
Right.
things like the Switch, and I'm pretty sure Nintendo knows that.
Oh, yeah.
Like a lot of their demographic. I think the average age of the Switch player was 20.
That sounds right.
I think it was 19 or 20. I think it was the average age of the Nintendo Switch owner.
I know a lot of people that my age, are still trying to find them and get them.
Yeah, which is crazy. I know, I actually know 4 now. I know 4 people that have a Nintendo Switch.
Yeah.
And all of the stories of how you guys got them is almost the exact same.
Right, like it's
you
just
you stumbled across them.
Sheer happenstance. Happenstance. It's just
Yeah.
completely just out of there's the beam of light just shot from the heavens. Just here it is.
Yeah. And
you
now
get
you
it.
can buy the Switch.
You're lucky.
And you said he was on the way back from MTSU. I think he sells a Friday too. And he said that, well, I don't know. Let's go to GameStop and see if they have a Switch. They didn't have one. He said, let's go to the Walmart there and see if they have one. And he went to the electronics desk. And he said, do you guys have a Nintendo Switch? And the guy said, we have one Switch left.
And that's exactly how mine was.
And then Andrew said he went back outside to his mom's car, got the 300, however much it was, and bought it there on the spot, which is hilarious.
You're just like sprinting to the store, don't let it go.
Running in the store to go get it.
And you have people, buying them and sitting on them and, and selling them for more. It's just wild that
it is wild
that this is happening.
And people buy them too.
They really are. So, switching on to a different topic now.
Let me find more fast. Hold on a second.
You like how I snuck it in there again? Didn't notice it, did you?
I didn't even notice it.
See, sounds sneaky like that.
I don't know if that's an indication to whether it's a good transition or a bad transition.
Sneaky puns.
Ah,
Good time.
good times.
Good times.
So I figured a good next topic would be this. Well, let me start from the beginning of the story. An American tourist in Germany was beaten up by a passerby after he began giving the Nazi salute outside of a cafe in Dresden. The German police said. Which, if you don't know, Germany is very strict about how you do Nazi stuff, which is in the fact that they don't want you to do it at all. Like, no Nazi symbols in video games or movies, no Nazi salutes, no mentioning of Hitler, the Nazi regime, the Third Reich, any of that. They don't appreciate any of it.
Which is understandable. I mean, because
It's understandable.
For about the better half of the last century, they've been playing rebranding with like PR almost,
Yeah, essentially. So it's kind of a big deal for an American tourist to go to the United States, do a one Hitler salute, and then think he can get away with it.
It's definitely not a smart decision.
Definitely not a smart decision. This article is from the Washington Post, and they said that the incident occurred around 8:15 a.m. Saturday, August 12th, as the man left a cafe called Europe in the, that's German. I don't feel like butchering German. In Dresden, essentially, police said in a statement that it's a liberal part of town and a popular meeting for students. He's a 41-year-old American man who was severely drunk.
I was gonna say, how many drinks of what has he had here?
Yeah.
Clearly not coffee.
Certainly not coffee. He suffered minor injuries while the stranger who assailed him fled the scene. So the guy that initially started beating him up was like, all right, I've done my part.
To be fair, the guy deserves it.
Yeah. No,
I mean, he's completely asking for it there.
He really is asking for it. Police said the U.S. national is under investigation for violating German laws prohibiting Nazi symbols, and that they're still seeking the passerby for causing personal injury. Says the press said. The Nazi salute, which is the right arm straight and angled up slightly, which Nazis are known for that salute, but it was a salute for many other things before then. Like, if you go back and watch or see pictures from the 1920s and 30s of people saluting the American flag, it was with the Nazi salute as what it's known as now. palm down and all that. Germany outlawed the salute after World War II, along with the Holocaust denial and other symbols and signals associated with the Nazis. Such a conviction can carry a prison sentence of up to 3 years, although courts often impose fines because they don't want to have just a bunch of people being idiots.
Of course.
Doing Nazi stuff.
I mean, you'd have
How
many foreigners would you probably have? Just
so many.
just ignorant, rude people. Just traveling over, just doing
Nazi
all kinds of
stuff.
shenanigans. I mean,
Yeah.
just slap them on the wrist. For being stupid and send them home.
Yeah. And it's not like this is the first time that's happened either.
No, I'm sure this is probably a weekly, daily thing. Somewhere in there in Germany, I would imagine.
Well, Berlin's Reichstag, or we've heard of it at least. A week before this, the Dresden incident with the American guy, 2 Chinese tourists were detained for giving Nazi salutes outside of the Reichstag, once home to the Imperial Diet.
See, that's ridiculous to me.
Yeah, the 2 tourists were fined nearly $600 each, but were permitted to leave the country with their tour group, the police said. Similarly, a 30-year-old Canadian tourist was detained in 2011 after being photographed giving the Nazi salute outside the Reichstag. He got off with the $600 fine also.
Right. Which is probably, that's pretty lucky on his part. I feel like it should be a heftier fine, honestly.
Yeah.
It's a pretty serious offense. It's like,
yeah.
be like going to the White House and waving I don't know, carrying bombs around or something. Something of that equivalent.
It's a big deal.
It's very disrespectful for one.
Very disrespectful, a very big deal. But Germany is not the only European country to ban the salute, the Nazi salute. If you do that salute, it's considered a Nazi salute, whether you intend it to be or not. Earlier this month, Switzerland's Supreme Court upheld the conviction of a man who appeared in 2013 making the Nazi salute outside of the Geneva synagogue. So Switzerland has also banned doing the Nazi salute. Anywhere else you can do it, and you'll just be seen as a not nice man.
Just a dumb guy.
A dumb guy.
Not a good guy. That's for sure. Not a fine chap.
Not a nice gentleman. But yeah, so there's that. If you go to Germany, don't do a Nazi salute. You'd be surprised the amount of people that I know, not personally, but I know from friends of friends and acquaintances and all that,
right,
that still associate Nazism with Germany. Which I understand, I guess, but
it's not that far removed from the past. So I guess it's still
7 years ago.
A fresher thing. I guess
People are still
that's still
alive from that
that's what you
kind
of put 2 and 2 with
Which is not the case with World War I, which is a specific topic that I'm very interested in as of recent, as
Maybe
a lot of it happened 100 years ago.
Later episode.
Definitely later episode.
Definitely later.
Maybe have a history episode. We'd have 2 people listening.
Be a cool time.
It would be a very good time. But yeah, no, there's almost nobody alive from World War I now. Whereas there's quite a few World War II veterans still alive.
Yeah, there's definitely
less
still a
and
few.
less nowadays.
Yeah, seems like every month, you kind of see one in the news, just.
But it is definitely more recent on people's minds. To close it, every year, hundreds of right-wing protesters from across Europe march in the eastern German city of Dresden on February 13th to commemorate the bombardment by Allied forces towards the end of World War II. So there's that.
Kind of tongue twister. White wing.
White wing.
Right,
hand in hand.
right ring.
Dresden really had no strategic military significance. It was really just America wanting to bomb more to prove their point.
Right.
Bit of a controversial statement, but it's 100% true.
Right.
That they're like, yeah, you bombed England a whole
kind
bunch.
of flexing the guns, if you will.
Yeah, that's essentially why they did bomb Dresden, because there
Right.
was just no reason to, and they did anyway. So there's all that. Man, history's fun and very interesting to learn about.
Yeah.
But whenever you get into things like this, you're like, ugh, people haven't really been the best for a long time. And still,
No, they definitely haven't.
Even more so now, it seems like every day you hear something about
We have
a neo-Nazi. You're like,
just this past weekend we've had
the stuff in Charlottesville.
yeah, it's been just kind of a wild time.
Yeah, we'll probably talk about that next episode.
More as it develops for sure.
Yeah, because it just happened. We're recording this on Sunday, August 13th, and it just happened last night.
So there's not a lot known about it yet.
No, definitely not. Well, we got about 4 minutes left. Perhaps another topic, my good man.
I definitely have one right here, my good sir. My good sir.
How about that?
I know you're a familiar traveler of the YouTubes.
Big fan of YouTube. I watch YouTube more than I watch any other media.
So very quickly, we'll just kind of breeze through this one. There's a channel called Daddy of Five.
Oh,
Parents are known for. Don't know if you've seen this channel or not. I think you've at least heard of it. I'm sure.
I've seen a couple of.
Right.
I've seen a little bit of it.
I watched a few as well myself, and they're pretty painful to watch. Honestly,
They're hard to watch.
they're really bad. They're really bad videos.
They're hard to watch and think this is a normal thing. This is just entertainment.
Right.
It's so hard to watch.
So for those of you who aren't quite familiar with the channel, what it is Daddy O5.
Daddy 05.
Daddy-O. The Daddy-O. No, but Daddy O5.
Yeah.
It's him and his wife.
Yeah.
And their 5 kids. And it's just the mom and the dad just pranking with the kids, just messing with them, But they're cruel.
They're not pranks.
No,
a prank is
they're cruel. They're just cruel. It's mental abuse.
It is.
Is literally what it is.
It really is. And you think of prank, or at least I think of prank. And a prank is going up to like the Walmart drive-thru. This is a classic Ed Bassmaster, old school YouTube prank. And he's going up to the drive-thru and he's talking into the microphone as he's doing order stuff for the drive-thru. And he's like, "Can I, with the end up large, like that, like acting as if the microphones quit working." And they said, "I'm sorry, could you please pull through the window?" And he pulls through the window and he's like, "Can I get a with a and he's doing that." And they're like, "Oh, you're messing with me." And it's a fun, and they start laughing.
Like you got me a little bit.
Yeah,
it's fine. No, but the specific one that I watched, the kids, they accused the kids of doing something that they did in the past.
Yeah.
And essentially what they did is it's the mom and dad just, yelling at the kids, just being very, very vulgar, just cursing like a salty sailor,
Stuff that we absolutely cannot put on the
Absolutely not,
Yeah.
I wouldn't say it in front of, it's not something you say in front of your grandmother, that's for sure.
Yeah, no, exactly.
Or in front of your kids, for that matter.
Yeah.
Kids. What kind of example is this setting for just their kids? That this is their normal.
That this is okay. This is an okay thing to do.
And the kids, by the end, they're like, "Oh, we pranked you. We got you." It's just.
And the kids are like crying.
Their kids are just like
they are shocked.
Right. Their faces are either just like stark pale, or they're crying, breaking down. It's just a very stark thing, and it's just
a very surreal situation.
It is, but the story is. Luckily, these parents are being charged with child neglect. And rightfully so, if you ask me.
And I think if you ask any normal person
for sure
that understands.
I just can't believe, honestly, it's taken this long for this to happen.
Law process is quite slow.
It definitely can be.
But you think that this is something that's like, oh, well, they shouldn't be doing this at all. This is not funny, nor is it entertaining at all.
No, it's not.
Because when did the last video come out? The last video was essentially them being like, there's paint on the wall or something.
Right,
kids
that's the one I was talking about. Where they're just
something jovial and not
screaming at them.
And they're screaming too.
I think it's invisible ink, I believe, or something of that nature, like that. It's gonna go away, and they're just, making a big.
It's hard. It's so hard to watch.
A big deal of it. Their last video came out. Let's see. It looks like a lot of them have actually. They've actually all been
deleted, or
a bunch of them have been removed. Actually.
They have
looks like an apology video 3 months ago, and then
it's not even an apology. I watched the apology video. It was
and then a channel update about a month ago, and that's all they have listed on their uploads. It looks like they took them all down, probably because of this legal process.
I imagine that's why they're doing them now.
So, and rightfully so, because they should not be getting monetary gains off these videos to pay for lawyers to fight this. That's not right.
And I think this happened the video in question came out in March, end of March, I think.
Sounds right, because the apology was probably not long after, and it was 3 months ago, which would have been May or April.
So probably April. But I remember YouTube changed their terms of service.
Just because of that, I would imagine.
Because of these videos in the law process. They said that, we're not responsible, we don't condone any of this thing, and also, you will not make any monetization off of videos similar to this. The exploitation of children or minors or, videos similar to that one.
And rightfully so.
And YouTube just not having it. YouTube's cracking down on stuff like that.
So, no, I know that's not exactly a fun one, to kind of end on, but It's a very serious one, you know, and at the very least, you know, at least hopefully, you know, we'll see some justice done here. Hopefully, that's kind of the hope here on this. That's at least the third opinion, if you will. So
yeah,
that's pretty well our show today, I think, folks. Right?
the first episode.
Elisha, yeah, first episode wrapped up.
First episode, also the last episode.
Last episode. So tune in again for the next last episode.
The next last episode,
which I believe we'll be airing these on Mondays at 2.
At 2. And
Fridays at
Fridays
5.
at 5.
Right?
I'm pretty sure. Yeah.
So
because we'll record these Friday. We're going to record this over the weekend,
right,
for things that happen over the week. Hey, we didn't talk about Trump. Oh boy,
we did good this week.
We did very good.
Very good. So
we have so much to talk about. We need to record more of these. I'm excited.
It's gonna be a good time. I hope hope we get a pretty steady following of listeners. You know, if you have something you'd like us to talk about, you know, maybe we can eventually set up an email and you could you know, maybe send us articles or something. You know, we'll kind of work that stuff out as we go. But
do some weirder or funnier stories.
Yeah.
A good way to reach us would be at our Twitters, or to go to the WCPI Facebook page, which I'm pretty sure Dr. Rowan and Mary Cantrell, they still operate that. You know, they still have it.
Right, yeah. They
and I mean, you're active on Facebook, we can just go look and reply to stuff.
So, you know,
if you guys want to get a hold of us that way, that'd be great.
It's a good way to do it. So hope you all enjoyed the show, and you know, I had a good time. I don't know about you.
I had a good time.
I had a blast.
I had a blast talking with my
little Bon Diggity shenanigan time.
I had fun with my baby boy Ethan.
Well, yeah, my big boy friend over here. You know, a little friend here. You know.
So we'll see you guys
next week,
same time, probably same place,
unless we change locales. And
yeah.
Signing out. I'm Ethan Duncan,
and I'm Elisha Hunt,
and this has been a third opinion.
Thanks for listening, guys. Love you all.
Have a good time. Have a good week. Hope you tune in again next week.